We have seen some truly hilarious failures in 2024, but Dustborn truly takes the cake. For months now, the media has been trying their best to get people hyped for this release, and it's launched to absolutely nobody playing it, and the media is still trying to get people to swipe their credit cards on this pile of trash. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Dustborn has never been a game that I thought was going to garner an audience because it is heavily inspired by 2016 political events, and you use words as your weapons and you have to trigger your enemies. I mean, it is a complete woke fest to the max. They focus on this DEI approach, and it's just not paying off for them because it's had basically nobody playing it. Now, of course, it is on multiple platforms, and we don't have console numbers, but one would assume they're relatively close to the Steam numbers, and it has garnered only 83 people as their all-time peak. It's currently sitting at 30 players in game right now, only 3 days after release. Of course, this is an indie game, but at the same time, they had gotten so much coverage before launch and also after, because you have outlets like Games Radar and Polygon and also FT trying their best to tell you that this is worth your money when clearly it isn't. You only have to go to social media and search Dustborn, and in the first couple of posts or videos, you're going to see why this game does not deserve your money, because they put an agenda first, and that's not the type of content gamers want to consume. These companies can try all they want to market a game towards modern audiences, but those people clearly do not exist in droves. We are talking about maybe a couple hundred people, and then individuals on social media who are just sensitive snowflakes who want everything sanitized, but those people don't buy video games. So the people you're trying to capture as an audience really don't exist. I mean, as you can see, this was the game for modern audiences, and it's got 83 people. And if you go over to Steam, the few people who are playing it have generally enjoyed it because it's sitting at all reviews a positive, but there's only 29 here. So going over to some of these articles, these are all new, all posted within the last week, either directly leading up to release or after release. I mean, we have Games Radar giving this a 4.5 stars out of freaking 5, saying almost lives up to its promise as an epic political road trip saga. I'm sorry, I've never heard one singular person in my time on the internet ask for a political road trip. That just sounds super, super cringy, and that's what this game is. As you can see, they're saying the pros are that it's an engaging combat and rhythm game with those elements, deep, easy to understand choice making system, colorful cast of characters, and solid world building, aka it hit the diversity quota. But the cons are that its ending and overall message undermines itself, and the writing varies wildly in terms of quality. It says Dustborn is a game with a message. Yeah, this is what people do not want. Yes, you can have titles that have some sort of underlying message, but we've gotten to the point where the activists within the industry who were only hired because they checked off certain diversity boxes and they don't actually have any skills to warrant the job positions that they have, these people do not know how to subtly write a message into something, an overarching theme of like good versus evil. They have a current narrative that they want to throw in your face that relates to the real world, and they sacrifice the storytelling in order to push that message to you. And that's what people don't like in games. Games are a form of escapism. And yeah, you can have titles that are based on extremely heavy themes, things like politics or gun violence. You can have these things, but you have to have a story that goes along with it. And in this case, they primarily focused on the message that they were telling you, what they wanted you to take out of it, instead of leaving it up to interpretation, which most pieces of amazing content do. They let you decide how to feel by the end. But these activists, again, only want you to take one singular thing from it, and then it just ruins the whole experience. I mean, not that I've ever heard anyone say they were excited for Dustborn and they thought it was going to be a good experience, but clearly there's a couple people out there who are buying it. They talk about how, combined with its oddly sustained length, the sheer amount of topics and issues it wants to address, and its growing cast of colorful LGBTQ plus characters, it almost lives up to its promise as an epic political road trip saga about people with superpowers. And they're basically saying that the problem is that it hammers home points over and over and over again, which just makes it sound even worse. And I didn't think that could happen. Then you have Polygon saying Dustborn offers perspective on the choices that shape us. Press X to resist. Oh my gosh, even these articles are extremely cringeworthy. I mean, it's a game for activists being praised by activists, so it's really no shock to see Polygon, Games Radar, all of them try their best to get you to buy it. But at the same time, I don't think that this is going to make people actually decide to swipe their credit cards. They would have already if they truly were excited for this experience. They don't say it's perfect. They describe it as a messy and imperfect game as the characters you come across, but it makes sense to not have, their input on everything and to leave some loose ends, to only have so much influence over the people around you. Dustborn is a reminder of how seemingly innocuous gestures might not always have a tangible impact, but they're always shaping who we are and how we relate to others. So basically, be nice to people because that might really affect them in real life. I mean, it's so cringeworthy. It's insane. So right now, the media, yes, is trying to shill for Dustborn. I don't think that it's particularly working. All of these articles have garnered a measly 83 people in game, and I don't think that we are going to see Red Thread Games make any statements about the release and the subsequent failure. I think that they will just continue to promote the game on the social medias that they have, and then that's going to kind of be it. Dustborn is going to fade into obscurity, even though it kind of already has. And you would think with all of this marketing, people that are part of these modern audiences would be lining up to support this title, but they're not. And Dustborn has already, at launch, been a massive failure, and it doesn't look like that's changing anytime soon. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.